The voices inside your head are back with some new ones. Pixar's Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2, the sequel to Inside Out, which is, for me, one of the absolute top Pixar films.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I found it profound and deeply moving. I think we all sobbed at the same moment in the first Inside Out. Nothing could quite top that. You know, it's like talking about Furiosa after Mad Max Fury Road. Like, nothing's going to quite top Inside Out, but this comes pretty close. It's pretty great.
I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff?
A new emotion.
Oh, I'm sorry. We wanted to make such a good first impression.
What do you mean we?
Riley is now 13. She is going through puberty. She's about to go into high school in the fall. And it's like a switch gets flipped in her, pretty much literally in this movie. And all of a sudden there's like zits and mood swings and new smells from parts of her body that are very exciting and scary. So besides having joy and sadness and fear and anger and disgust, we now also have anxiety, voiced by Maya Hawke. We have embarrassment, voiced kind of by Paul Walter Hauser. He hasn't really talked. We have ennui, voiced by Adèle Exarchopoulos. And we have, Ayo Edebiri as Envy. Yeah. And so it's how she navigates going to a different place with different friends and trying to fit in, and all the highs and lows and the mood swings. And it's really, really clever all over again, and lively and fun, and all the things that you want in, some of the better Pixar films in terms of operating on various levels for various ages of viewers. It's beautiful and clever with the wordplay as far as all the parts of her mind where the emotions go and how they manipulate her and try to help her or protect her. But there's also real depth to it and real complexity as far as helping her understand that the flaws and the bad parts of her and the bad memories and the awkward moments make her who she is, as much as scoring a goal that's the game winner for your team or making a new friend, and that's exciting. So it does a good job of balancing all of that. It comes from first-time feature director Kelsey Mann, who has been an animator for a long time within all of the Disney and Pixar stuff. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, it didn't get me. I got teary-eyed, but it didn't overwhelm me. It didn't have the emotional wall of the first one.
Yeah, I mean, the first movie, that moment, which I didn't see coming at all, and it was just like, but I did get a little verklempt here, and I think it has to do with the idea of, and this is a tricky thing, I think, for especially a family movie. Like, the first one is very much aimed at kids and, how kids feel and how they process things. And this is about, like, the beginnings of the formation of an adult identity, the complex weaving together of, like, the moments you're proud of and the moments that you're mortified by and ashamed of, even, and how that builds the person that you wind up being, and like, you see Joy early on, like, just literally kind of sending the bad memories, like, as far to the back of the brain as she can, like, banishing them to the cornfield. And at some point, like, all of that stuff's going to come back, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I enjoyed this movie on a metaphorical level, but I also just enjoy it on a straightforward, like, the way these characters interact and the colors and the world of Riley's mind, and then also the world of Riley's life. The way that she is in this moment where she's suddenly got to make new friends, and can she be herself, or is she going to try and create this new identity, and then what are the complications there, and how do you maintain that, and the pressure that she's putting on herself. I found it very relatable and funny and moving. And so, yeah, maybe not, it doesn't hit, like, all of the heights of the first Inside Out, but, like, even the first Inside Out, I remember thinking, like, some very moving parts, but also some stuff that didn't entirely land. And I think this is, on that level and as good. And I think if you love the first one, there's going to be a lot that you enjoy out of this one.
I appreciate, too, that they don't make the anxiety character totally obviously villainous.
Sure.
From the start, because a lot of her instincts are good ones, and a lot of the ways in which she steers Riley as she tries to figure out how to fit in with new kids in a scary, exciting place, like, those make sense as far as figuring out who you are and how do you fit in. And that is true, I think, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, you want to make friends, you want to feel like you belong. And so I think those instincts make sense. And so I appreciate the complexity of that. And Maya Hawke gives a very fun performance. And she and the Amy Poehler as Joy have a good push-pull with each other. Always love sadness. Always love Phyllis.
Yeah.
So her little face is so sweet. I wish, though, because Ayo Edebiri is so deeply talented and such a great voice actor, I wish they had given Envy more to do. I wish Envy had been better defined beyond being sort of just the right-hand woman to anxiety.
Yeah, no, it's true. You always want more from her. But I mean, yeah, I think in the same way that the first movie is about Joy acknowledging that sadness has to be there too and is part of the thing. Like, I think there's a way to incorporate anxiety into your life without letting it overwhelm your life, you know? And so you're right. Not only is anxiety right about a lot of things, like the idea of trying to plan a couple of steps ahead, you know, can be useful and helpful. It can also be, you know, abused, you know, and overpowering, you know, in someone. So, yeah, I think it nails that stuff really well. You know, I like little details like the fact that fear and anxiety get along really well. And,
Yeah,
you know, like
that makes sense.
where they kind of, you know, dovetail, and that sadness and embarrassment have some things in common.
It's
you
cute.
know? So like it's understanding the complexities of these elements that they're throwing in the way that the best Pixar movie do. Yeah, Jinx.
I'm sorry, honey. I was saying because it's Pixar. There's so many cool little details. Like there are these little like mind cops, right? And they were like little policeman hats. And at one point, one of the hats like falls off of the guy and like rolls onto the floor, and you see the inside the brim. There's a piece of like tape, and it says in Sharpie, "My hat."
My hat.
So just really, like, that's one of the biggest laughs I had, you know, and that's the great stuff about Pixar. And of course, the colors are wondrously beautiful, so vibrant, kind of like the cans of Athletic Brewing Company Rainbow Wall, a very limited edition special beer for Pride Month, non-alcoholic beer. We've been enjoying it here. It is a hazy IPA with some blood orange to it. It's delicious and crisp. We have a deal with our friends at Athletic Brewing Company. Take 10% off of your order with our code Breakfast All Day in all caps. If you order at least $50 worth of beer, your shipping is free. Why not? It's summer. You want to hang out and have a beer and not feel wasted in the middle of the day and not be hungover the next morning, but still feel social. Rainbow Wall, very pretty, from our friends at Athletic Brewing Company. Yeah, so many great details and just great energy the whole way through. And I think that the choices that she makes all along the way kind of make sense as far as her learning her lessons, but not in a way that's like mawkish or heavy-handed. It felt true.
And if you're a Muppet fan, by the way, those brain cops are voiced by Frank Oz and Dave Gells.
Yes, very cute. Yeah, good. And other clever little small voice cameos along the way. There are some very funny little moments that were recurring bits that I enjoyed quite a bit.
And I had forgotten that Diane Lane and Kyle MacLachlan are the parents.
Are her parents? Yes,
both movies.
Very cute. So, what is your number then on Inside Out 2?
I said an 8.8. I liked it a lot, and I'm not going to be like, oh, Pixar is back, because I think they've actually been doing really great stuff that not enough people have been watching of late. You know, Luca, I think, is a masterpiece. And
Turning Red fits well with this.
Absolutely, I was thinking that Turning Red would be a great double feature with this, and Elemental, I thought was really effective too. Yeah. So you know. Are they all Toy Story 3? No. But you know what? They're more often than not, they know what they're doing over there. So yeah, what about you?
I will say 8.5. I brought Nick with me, and I'm so glad that I did, and we had a great time together and laughed a lot. So I think if your kids are this age, it's perfect. If they're a little younger, they can look up to that. If they are adults, they can look back on that, remember all the awkwardness as well. So it sort of works for everybody really, really well. So Inside Out 2 in theaters this weekend.